And I think she's hopefully still going to let people in on this. So I have to apologize first tonight because I know I look a little alarming if you look closely at my face. I'm trying to be far away from the camera. I had a bad allergic reaction to something today and I've broken out in hives all over my face. So I look a little funny. So I apologize for that. I push my body sometimes too much for things I'm sensitive to, and I should have known better. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And tonight's topic I think is really important. We want to talk about the difference between hydration and moisturization because these are two very different things. They are not the same thing, and the terms should not be used interchangeably, especially when we talk about our bodies or our hair. So, the idea with hydration is it's something that happens from within. So, if you're very hydrated, your body, you drink water. If I stand in the shower, it's not going to rehydrate me if I hit the outside of my body. What will rehydrate me is if I drink the water and get it inside my body. If my skin is dry, yes, drinking water will help to work from the inside out, but you also know we have to put moisture on the outside of something. So hydration really means working from the inside out. And moisturization is kind of working on the outside of something. And we do have different products that handle these different things. And based on your hair type, it really should dictate whether you need to focus more on moisturization. Everybody needs moisturization. Fewer people need hydration. So let's talk about that difference a little bit. You guys will remember 2 weeks ago when we talked about Rejuvenique oil, I explained to you that water molecules are actually pretty large molecules, and Rejuvenique oil molecules are much smaller. And so we talked about the three layers to the hair, and I said not everyone has the center layer, the medulla. Not only thick people with thick hair have that inner layer of protein and air in the center, the medulla. Um, People who have thicker, coarser, curlier hair tend to need hydration because for most of them, if you are able to look at their hair strand under a microscope, their cuticles, remember the outside layer of the hair will be raised. They'll look like pine cones that are dried out a little bit. And what happens when that is, it actually makes your hair thicker because think about it. If you have something that's paper thin and like this, it lays flat. But if you've got something where the cuticles are out, it gives it a thicker, fuller look. So it looks great, but it makes your hair strand very susceptible to breaking. Once that cuticle comes up, things can get into the hair strand and break the hair off. So hydration works from within. And let me start, I guess I can talk about hydration first. If your hair is thicker and denser and coarser and curlier, you tend to need hydration. Why? Because your cuticle is open. And if your cuticle is open, your hair is releasing water molecules from inside the strand and it needs something to replace it. This is why people with thicker, curlier, coarser hair can sometimes put a little Rejuvenique oil on their hair during the day and they're okay. If I put Rejuvenique oil on my hair during the day, I would look like a greasy oil mop. Some people with thin hair, have you guys tried to do that? And you're like, oh my, this looks hysterical. I've seen people with thick, coarse hair take Rejuvenique oil and put it on and they look great. And I think, how did they do that? That's how, because their cuticles are open. The oil is able to go inside the strand of the hair. For those of us who have thin, fine hair, our cuticles are slammed shut. So what happens to the oil? It traps around the outside of the hair. So based on the kind of hair you have should really dictate how much hydration you need. I do not recommend any of our hydrating products for somebody with thin, fine hair because the design of our hydrating products is to help your cuticle lift enough to get moisture inside there. And so we don't need it if we have thin and fine hair. We don't need that hydration as much as somebody who has their cuticles open. Now, there's a term we use a lot of times when we talk about cuticles being open and cuticles being closed, and it's called porosity. And If your hair is low porosity, your cuticles are slammed shut. My hair is very low porosity, very thin, fine hair. So everything coats the outside of my strand. People who have high porosity hair means it's very porous. Porous is holes. It absorbs things. So people who have more high porosity hair need that hydration. The absolute best product we have for hydration is the Replenish Mask. I refer to it with my hair as the devil. You want me to have absolutely flat hair stuck to my head, I use the Replenish Mask. I used to try when we first got into this. That was the only mask we had. It was one of the first products we had, and it was horrible on my hair. Still to this day, I don't like it. I don't even like to talk about it, to be honest. It is horrible on thin and fine hair. The idea behind our Replenish Mask is our Replenish Mask is one of the products we have with the absolute most Rejuvenique oil embedded in it. And so imagine that if you have thin, fine hair, you may as well be dumping the oil on your hair. But the beauty of Replenish Mask for somebody who has really thick, coarse, high porosity hair, the beauty of that is our Replenish Mask has amino acids in it. And amino acids help to open that hair cuticle and get the hydration, get the moisture inside the strand. So if you use our Replenish Mask, you have to use a conditioner after it. If you recommend Replenish Mask for somebody, a client of yours who has very thick, coarse, dry hair, they should use a conditioner after it because the Replenish Mask will help to keep that cuticle open so it can deposit moisture inside the hair strand, and you need another conditioner to shut the hair strand. Because what'll happen is if somebody uses Replenish Mask over and over again, and they're not using a conditioner after it, their hair could break because you're opening the cuticle and you're never closing the cuticle to keep it in there. So our Replenish Mask is very good for people who have all three layers to their hair, because people with thinner hair, we don't have that medulla. And the idea behind the Replenish Mask is to hit that medulla, that inner part of your strand, and replace all those depleted amino acids in there. So you should not use Replenish every wash. If you have clients using this, gosh, I wouldn't use it more than once or twice a month because of what it does to the cuticle. And I also would use a conditioner after it. Now, I had a client an African American client who had obviously very thick, coarse hair. She loved Replenish Mask. She absolutely loved this stuff. And think about it. It's because everything, it was so hard to get, her hair was very porous and it would soak everything in, and made it more manageable and it made it easier to handle. But you've got to use a conditioner after this. So that's one thing you want to note about this. It's also why you typically don't want to recommend, and I'm not going to talk about a lot, but our hydration line to people with thinner, finer hair, because the hydration line is also meant to get into the inner layer of the hair strand. And so it's not good unless you have thicker hair. It's not a favorite of mine, and I know Mallory doesn't like it as well. So be very careful recommending those products to people, and maybe they should rotate them a little bit because of what it does. So more of us, everyone faces issue with moisturization, especially this time of year. If you've ever gone in some place and your hair stands straight up with static electricity, that's lack of moisture on the hair strand. It's dryness that makes your hair have static electricity. So everyone should have some type of moisture products on hand, even people with thin and fine hair. For people with thinner, finer hair, it's the issue of finding the right one to work for them, but you all should have those on hand. So let's talk about a couple of products that are really, really good for moisturization, the outside of the hair strand. First one, Mallory absolutely loves this. I have to be a little bit more careful about using it too often, but the Super Moisture Mask. That is really, really, really great. It's good if your hair is slightly dry. All hair types can use the Super Moisture Mask because it gives a very light, nourishing kind of treatment. It has Rejuvenique oil in it, and it does have an amino acid complex, but it doesn't have as many amino acid chains as our Replenish Mask does. So we always have told people that you can use it in place of another conditioner. You can also use this after another conditioner if you choose. I have heard some other people say you should use another conditioner after this, that it shouldn't be your final one. And it probably they're saying that because of the fact that it has that amino acid complex in it that may lift the cuticles a little bit. I know not everybody uses a conditioner after this. So I would work if you have someone using this a lot and they are complaining about their hair being dry, have them condition after it because maybe it's opening their cuticle a little bit and you need them to shut the cuticle. When the cuticle shuts, it traps that moisture inside your hair. When the cuticle's open, it comes. Mallory is talking in the chat. Mallory, I thought you were the whole reason I was doing this is you were going away. So she's still.
I'm just eating some
she's
food, but I have things to say.
okay. She will have things to say. So I will keep talking about this. So for some people, Mallory loves Super Moisture Mask. She does use it quite routinely. It is still too much moisture for my thin and fine hair. I mean, guys, I have when I do a ponytail back here, it literally looks like I have 4 hair strands. That's how bad my hair has gotten over the years. And
But
it's just okay. She's back
sorry,
again.
I
She
have
is
to do
so
it.
funny.
It's not about the fact that you have thin and fine hair. It's about the fact that you're so low porosity because I have very thin and fine hair. Okay. Super thin and fine. So much so that I've had hairstylists say, whoa, your hair will just snap. It's so thin and fine. But my hair is very high porosity. So my hair just gobbles up that moisture. Um, and you don't necessarily need to worry about using a conditioner after a super moisture mask, especially if you're using the leave-in conditioner after.
If
Uh,
you're using the leave-in to help shut the
that
cuticle,
will
you're
also shut the
fine.
cuticle. Mhm.
Yes.
I'm not
Yes.
convinced that the super moisture mask leaves the cuticle open. That
Well,
I know that that's a little rumor.
it's
Yeah,
it is, but I will say this, it does have an amino acid chain in it. And so anything that's an amino acid is a protein base. And so you do have to be a little careful. I'm
yeah.
just saying, if you have somebody complain about, man, I'm using this and my hair feels dry, I would have them use the leave-in conditioner or something after it somehow.
Agree. It's good
Um,
to know. It's definitely good to know. And then to like really have that in mind and monitor your hair as you use it. But I've literally used it for years as a conditioner. Years, my friends. And I don't use many other things as a conditioner. I literally stick to this. Or like the hair transformation. And then lately, since we've been doing these trainings and I'm like refreshing myself, I have been using the Intense Repair Conditioner on the top of my hair by my root where where the pixel can get in. So I use the Intense Repair Conditioner up here, and then on the bottom of my hair, I use the Super Moisture Mask. And that's a whole nother conversation is how you can section your hair and use different products on it. But I'll stop talking now.
It'll never last. She'll be back. I'll guarantee it. So I think she made some valid points. And this is why you really have to talk to customers a little bit and understand what's going on. If I use Super Moisture Mask, my hair is flatter afterwards. And the reason why all the great Rejuvenique oil, all the great amino acids, all of that is now coating the outside of my hair strand, weighing it down, making it heavier, and my hair is flat. Not good for my hair. She absolutely loves it. So you've got to let people try things a little bit sometimes too, and really talk to them about their hair. Blondes, bleach blondes typically have very, very, very high porosity hair because bleach opens the cuticle. So if you have somebody who's bleaching their hair or very, very blonde and not naturally, they probably have their cuticle open and therefore they do need something to hydrate and something to moisturize a little bit more. One of my favorite products that also helps with moisturization, and Mallory hinted at it, is our Restore Leave-In Conditioner. Every single person should have this baby out in their bathroom all the time. So why? Remember last week or the week before we talked about Capixel? Capixel is the emollient we have in a lot of our products that protects the scalp and it helps to thicken and strengthen the hair and support growth. Capixyl is that really, really, really important ingredient that's in our IR conditioning serum. Remember, we talked about some of those things. So Capixyl is in this. It also has Crotabsorb. What does Crotabsorb do? It protects your hair from UV. If you have kids, and I'll talk about summer, even though I'm sure we're down in Texas and it's 60 here right now. But I know you guys are freezing up north. In the summer, if you have kids who swim so much their hair turns green from chlorine, have them put Restore Leave-In before it. It will protect the hair strand from the chlorine. It's good for UV protection with the sun. It is wonderful. That's what the Crotabsorb does in it. Procataline, that's also in our Restore Leave-In conditioner, is all kinds of great antioxidants that help the follicles combat premature thinning and helps protect your color. It has Rejuvenique oil in it. You can put it on, if you're going to put it before you swim, make your hair wet first so it adheres to the wet. Wet your hair, put it in your hands, put it in your hair, and then you get help from the sun and from the chlorine. You can use it on dry hair. I absolutely love this at night. Remember, we mentioned, again, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, you should be moisturizing your hair before bed, just like you moisturize your face. And this is one of the two products that I really, really like to use. So you can put a little bit of this on your hands, and I just run it through my ends. What does that do? It keeps the ends from adhering to the pillow and breaking off at night. It's very, very good because of that Rejuvenique oil. You can mix it if you're going to do an overnight treatment with Rejuvenique oil, and I like to do that. It's great for flyaways. So sometimes if my hair is just a little frizzy, I'll put a little on my hands and pull it through, and it helps with that. And it is an absolutely fantastic protectant. It's a barrier. Our Restore Leave-In condition protects your hair, creates a barrier against stressors. So it helps it when you brush it. It helps it when you style it. It protects it from the sun. It protects it from environmental pollutants. It protects it from free radicals and other things trying to get in there and hurt your hair. Restore Leave-In conditioner is one of our best products. And that's why I say everybody should have it. I've used it on my skin.
Same. But I do have something to add to that. Sorry, I'm back. Um, the logical concern would be, okay, if I'm applying Restore Leave-In conditioner on my hair every night, is it gonna make my hair kind of funky? You know, like if I'm
If
not
you put
washing
too much, I think so, but I
it.
don't worry about that as
Exactly. You
much.
have to play around with the amount. Like I put it on this morning, in fact, I usually try to put it on at night. This one simple change will make a world of a difference in your hair. Finding the right amount of Restore Leave-In that you can put through your hair at night that won't make it, a little like, hey, you went overboard. But also, what I would recommend if you can is rather than just doing Restore Leave-In at night, taking the Restore Leave-In in your hand, mixing a little bit of the Rejuvenique Light in with it, because something about the viscosity of the oil mixed with it allows for you to glide it through your hair a little bit more evenly, thus not leaving you with chunks of too much Restore in certain parts of your hair. So it really helps uh double whammy your moisture, double whammy the what we're trying to do at night, but also it helps to get it through your hair and then you can comb it through. Um, I think that that's like the ultimate thing you could do for your hair before bed. But yes, tell your customers you can't just do your skincare routine at night. You have to have a little bit of hair care routine at night.
Especially this time of year, guys.
Yes.
Heaters will dry your hair. You guys know that up north, your skin is dry, your hair is dry. Everyone should be doing this. Now, if you want something just a little bit lighter than the Restore Leave-In, you're not going outside this time of year, or maybe it's too much. I highly, 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 highly recommend our CC cream. So our CC cream started off as an only for you product, and it got such rave reviews. It became added to our lineup. Now it is hard to find out information about it because it's like they added it to the line and never added a product card or anything for the CC cream. But our CC cream, what The difference I see in that when I use it is the CC cream I need a lot less of than the Restore Leave-In because it almost gives a little bit of slip to the hair, if you know what I mean. It is very lightweight. You can use it with thin and fine hair. It's a multitasking leave-in treatment. So if your hair is a little bit undernourished, or if you're getting some dryness or coarseness, or even if it's damaged or brittle a little bit, or just needs some of that external moisture, a little drop of CC cream mixed around and pulled through your end absolutely does wonder because it's very non-greasy. It's very fast absorbing. It's like a CC cream for your face would be. You know, it's not really a moisturizer, but it does a great job keeping moisturizer in and kind of protecting it a little bit. So the great thing about our CC cream is it also has a lot of vitamins and minerals in it, and it helps to protect the hair, but it doesn't weigh it down. Makes it very soft. And I think that's a great way to put it with the CC cream. Now, I also get that with the Restore Leave-In, but it's not the same kind of softness. If some of you have used both of them, play around some night and put just a little bit on one side of your hair and then put what the other product on the other side of your hair and feel it. You'll see the difference I'm talking about. I just need just a little bit, but it's very, very good for your hair and it's good for all hair types. So I keep the CC cream out in the bathroom too. We keep the Restore Leave-In and we keep the CC cream, both of them out in the bathroom to use. Our CC cream also has some amino acid complexes in it, but it's fine to use. It's not going to open your cuticle or hurt your cuticle, especially just putting it on dry hair. Now, you could put it on towel dry hair too if you wanted. I put it on dry hair. I've never put it on my hair wet. It's got Muramura seed butter in it, which we don't have in our leave-in. And it's also got some provitamin B5 in it. So it's really good. A lot of vitamin E in it too, as well as a little argan oil in it. So the CC cream is really, really good. Pick one, try it, use it every night. Your customers should be using it every night, even if you're shampooing the next morning, because what will happen if your hair is dry at night, and especially if you're not using a silk or a satin pillowcase, is the ends rough against cotton or your clothing. And those ends, especially if the cuticles are open this time of year because it's dry and it's flyaway, this is what will cause the ends to start breaking off a little bit. So that's why we recommend a silk or a satin pillowcase and then something to add a little slip to your hair, like the Restore Leave-In or the CC cream or something like that. So I love it. Anybody else here at love the CC cream? You guys, any of you use it? Some of you use it. Do you use it every night? Katie, do you like it with your curly hair? I know you have very curly hair.
I do like it. I think that I used too much the first few times I used it, so I wasn't sold on it. But when I used less than that, I liked it. For air drying, especially, I think of it kind of like a combination between an air dry cream and a leave-in. It gives me both, which curly girls use so many products. Anytime that we can combine two things together, it's a win.
I agree. And you have to play, and especially if somebody's got thinner hair. I don't know that we've come up with samples of the CC cream yet, and I don't even know if it's still an only for you. Is it still an only for you? I think it's just on our main product
I think
line,
it's a
isn't it?
regular product now.
Yeah. So I don't even know that you can still get it as an only for you. Another product that I want to mention because it's kind of the junior version, but tweaked of our Rejuvenique oil that I think people forget about quite a bit is our Glossy Shine Mist. Have some of you played with the Glossy Shine Mist at all? Do not spray it directly on your hair. That word mist is misleading. I did that one time and turned around and looked in the mirror and I had to wash my hair and start all over again. It's not hairspray. Do not mist directly into your hair. That's so funny that they call it a mist. Now they claim it is a micro mist. It's not a micro mist. It's just a huge tornado hitting my hair with oil. So, Katie, you can actually spray it on your hair. Oh my.
It's actually, I don't know anybody else who can, but it is actually the perfect curl refresh at the end of a day. Like I used the example of I was in Vegas one time. I did my hair in the morning. I diffused it. It looked great. We were going to go out later that night, but we drove with the top down on the Mustang and we got back to the hotel room. And I was like, I'm going to have to do my hair all over again. And I used the Glossy Shine Mist to refresh my curls, and it was actually good. But I always tell people, don't do it. My hair is so dry and porous that it works, that nobody else can do that.
No. So what the difference is, oh, so Sarah can say she can
Sarah,
spray too. Wow,
another
you
curly
guys
girl.
have got some lucky people here. Here, let me tell you the difference between this and our Rejuvenique oil. So we started playing around a couple years ago and we released something called Rejuvenique S. And what Rejuvenique S does is it added olive oil and jojoba seed extract to our Rejuvenique. And we started playing with it. And I think it came out first in, was it the hydrating? Mallory, you may remember. We were at a
It was, you're
convention
correct.
and they added Rejuvenique S to that. So if you see products that say that it has Rejuvenique S, it's one that have added olive oil and jojoba seed extract to the actual product. So this has that. The Glossy Shine Mist also has the procataline. Remember, that gives the antioxidants and the really good thing. It helps with premature thinning. It also has grapeseed oil in it. So it's the nice thing about grapeseed oil is it's a feather light oil. It's a very, very, very small molecule oil that has a lot of antioxidants and a lot of vitamins in it, and it absorbs very, very quickly, which is probably why Katie and Sarah like it, is because it will absorb quickly into the hair strand. And our Glossy Shine Spray also has sweet almond oil. And this is what gives the shine because it's got vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin E. It's got natural oils, minerals, all kinds of things in it. If I've tried to put a little bit in my hand and touch my hair, it's still too much for me. I had to finally give up on the Glossy Shine Mist as a styling product. I could use it at night as more of a treatment on there, but to be honest, for my thin, fine hair, if I was going to do a treatment, I just default to the Rejuvenique oil. But it's worth trying, especially if you have someone that has hair like Katie or Sarah or something that's thicker and they need something during the day and they don't want to use the heavier Rejuvenique oil. This is a modified version of it. So it may be something that somebody could play with a little bit on there. But that's the difference. Now, right now, this time of year, every single person should be doing moisturization of some kind. So something to coat the outside of the strand. And we talked about some great options. If you want the conditioner, you've got the Super Moisture Mask or some of the other conditioners. The Restore Leave-In or the CC Cream is going to be your best bet. If you have thicker hair and you need to hydrate it, curly, coarse hair, the Replenish Mask or something to absorb in that has those amino acid chains that can get into your strand is going to help. But don't recommend that to thin hair people. They should not be using the Replenish Mask. And you always, always, always have to condition after it. Always have to close the cuticle, which is the same reason why we talked about why Rejuvenique oil is so good after you get your hair colored. Because when your hair is wet, it encourages the cuticle to open because those water molecules are so good to slide in. And what happens if those stay open is the color can get out. So when you do Rejuvenique oil products after your hair gets colored or even after you shower or something, you close the cuticle, you keep that hydration and that moisture in there, and that's what you need to do. That's why they say don't ever, ever, ever go outside with wet hair or go to bed with wet hair. Wet hair is very, very, very prone to breaking off because the water molecules get trapped in the cuticles and it can cause breakage. So you really shouldn't go to bed with wet hair unless you've got really thick hair and you don't mind losing some of it. Then you can. And that's really all I had that I wanted to cover. Mallory, did you want to mention anything else about hydration, moisturization, porosity, any of this?
There it is. I, in my career, have run into a few instances where people's hair was snapping off, and it was because they were only using our hydration products and they weren't using any moisture at all. So I think like something just really important to note is that advanced hydration line should not be the only thing that someone is using because every hair type needs moisture. It's just about how we're going to deliver the moisture and how much moisture we're going to deliver. but every single person's hair needs moisture. Not everybody needs hydration. So, you know, it never fails when I get put in a group text and it's someone's VIP whose hair is breaking off all of a sudden, and I ask them what they're using. It's the advanced hydration. Now, I don't want people to be afraid of it. It's good in the right circumstances, but you have to have moisture paired with it. It's so important. But yeah, this time of year, you just want to really, before bed, treat your hair. Do your weekly oil treatments, your weekly moisture treatments. And just understanding the difference between hydration and moisture, and probably educating your audience would be a great idea too, especially now. Like get on social media and say like, hey, hydration versus moisture.
Keep in mind, do not go outside this time of year with wet hair if it's cold, because I want you to think about this. When water freezes, the molecules get bigger.
Yeah.
All of you know that if you put something in the freezer and you had it freeze, those molecules get bigger and they expand.
Yeah, you'll be
So you've got wet hair and you go out and that water freezes on your hair strand and you're putting your hair at risk. You're making it weaker because if those water molecules are caught inside your cuticles that are open and then they freeze, they can snap your hair off. So do not go out. Don't let freezing cold air hit your wet hair because you can cause damage to it too. So,
But yeah, education is great because how many of us before Monet realized that there was a difference between hydration and moisture in your hair? Like none of us had thought about that. You know, you just look at the names of your shampoo in the shampoo aisle and oh, that sounds good. You don't think about hydration versus moisture and how they're different and when you need what. So I think your audience is really appreciative when you, as a hair expert, educate them on things like that. Even if they're not using your product, you're providing value to people, and it's a good thing.
yeah, I saw what Nikki said. Yeah, stay away from the ice challenges.
Yeah, I saw that too. It's terrible.
Yeah, unless you're going to keep your hair, you could put in some Restore leave-in because remember that will create a more of a protective shield or something on your hair. That maybe would do it.
Actually, we should note that last. Also, side note, I know it's not the time of year for it, but before you go in pool water or
I
ocean,
already talked. Hey, I already
oh,
talked about that.
I missed it. I was downstairs grabbing my Ziki bowl.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
already said do it on wet hair. Get your hair wet, put Restore leave-in, and it'll be good for the pool and it'll be good for all that.
yes.
So,
It
Emily,
protects you.
thank you. I'm glad you guys are enjoying them again. I'm kind of glad we're stuck with just 40 minutes
Yeah.
because Mallory and I can get kind of carried away when nobody shuts us off after 40 minutes. It gets kind of dangerous to do these, but we'll talk about some different. We were talking today about a schedule and talking about some different hair types, and we can talk about some products that would work best for the different hair types and maybe what to avoid and what to recommend. But this time of year, the hydration and moisturization and the porosity and understanding someone's hair is very, very, very important. If it's colored, bleached hair, like I said, is going to be higher porosity. Um, but just keep the moisture coming. Unknot Detangler can help too a little bit, but it's got that
Tons.
Rejuvenique S and that Fiber Rescue and the Rejuvasoft in it. It's
It
got some
also
different
has
things.
Sensibil Sil in it. The unknot, okay, sorry, gotta end on this. Will keep thinking of more products. The unknot detangler is such a phenomenal treatment piece for your hair. Not just if or when your hair's tangly. That Sensibil Sil in there is such an impressive ingredient. This is a phenomenal treatment. And you can put this on dry hair as well, and it's not gonna make your hair funky. So it's another really good thing to use at night, especially to the underside of your hair where it rubs against stuff and it gets all tangly and knotty. Underside of your hair should get a dose of unknot detangler 100%.
Yeah, because it's got some of the similar products to it that the Rejuvenate or the Restore Leave-In and some of those have with the Rejuvenate S and the Fiber Rescue and some of it. Um, so I hope we've handled this conversation tonight and you guys understand the difference between hydration and moisturization.
And then we'll get in the chats with what next week's topics are, and this is great. Thank you guys so much for being
Unless somebody has something they want to
Oh, yeah,
make sure we cover next week. Does somebody have a request?
We'll just keep
Okay.
rolling with the roll.
We'll roll. We'll roll. I'm going to go take another Benadryl now for my face.
Yeah, you go to bed. Thank you guys so much. Have a great night, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.